Welcome to another Walter Football video. I'm Charlie Campbell, Senior Draft Analyst. Before we get rolling here, I suggest you click into the settings, speed it up to 1.25 or 1.5. All right, got to get into another mock draft here. Had the Senior Bowl. I was in Mobile. You can check out all the hot press rumors. Had some really interesting stuff there. In case you guys didn't see, I reported Walter Football broke Doug Peterson being the new Jaguars head coach. We reported it 24 hours before NFL Network and NFL.com and ESPN. We had a lot of good rumors and interesting tidbits hitting on the draft, free agency. And some of that stuff's incorporated here, and we're going to have a ton more next week in Indianapolis. I'll be there at the Combine. I'm really excited. I think it could be even better than the Senior Bowl because you have more staff there. The teams don't send as many staff to the Senior Bowl as they do to the Combine in terms of the coaches. So I'll have more contacts available and guys to meet up with and get information for you guys, which is what's most important to me. I don't care about my opinion. It doesn't matter. What I want is where teams value guys. I like to get inside information for you, the readers and viewers of walterfootball.com. You make our dreams come true, and I love all of you. And so let's get into this week's mock. All right. First over, and picks for all 32 teams, and I'll get into the Rams one later. But anyways, first overall, Jaguars. I have them taking Aiden Hutchinson, defensive end from Michigan. I think if you look at the Jags picks as a pair in terms of an edge rusher at the top of the draft or an offensive tackle or wide receiver in the second round, or flipping it, doing the offensive tackle first, edge rusher later, you can make a good argument for going either route. But one of the things that I reported in the Senior Bowl hot press was multiple teams that I spoke with do not have Evan Neal as a left tackle for them. They are projecting him to be a right tackle only in the NFL. So for the first overall pick in the draft, getting a right tackle only is just not that great a value. I think with the Jags, it would make more sense to take a right tackle in the second round. They could trade back into the first round easily. They could sign a veteran. They have a lot of options they can go there. They took Walker Little in the second round last year. Jawan Taylor still under contract. They have some tackles coming back. So they don't have to take Evan Neal here. So I think it could make sense to take the edge rusher first and Aiden Hutchinson, get a solid, safe edge rusher to go with Josh Allen. Now you have bookends to really lead that defensive unit, bring back the Jacksonville Jaguars. So second overall, I have the Lions taking Drake London. Another part of the hot press from Senior Bowl. And talking with sources, I don't think Detroit is in love with either Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeaux. I don't think that they are just crazy about either one of those guys. I do think that other options are seriously in play there for the Lions. I know everyone's kind of projecting Hutchinson there, but I think they're more likely to go a different direction, like wide receiver or cornerback. Cornerback maybe a little less likely because they took Jeff Okudah a few years ago. It wasn't this regime. He's trending towards being a bust. That was a bad pick by Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn. But Detroit needs a number one corner, so I think Derek Stingley's in play here. But they also badly need a number one receiver, and I think Drake London could be a Michael Thomas, Mike Evans, DeAndre Hopkins caliber wide receiver. That would be a huge improvement for the Lions offense. Pair him, reunite him with St. Brown, and now you have a really talented pair of young receivers to go with TJ Hawkinson. And they have a young offensive line. They could really take a big step forward in year two under Dan Campbell. So I have them going with London, second overall. Third overall, I have the Texans taking Kayvon Thibodeaux, the defensive end from Oregon. Obviously, Houston needs a lead dog edge rusher. They lost J.J. Watt, Merciless, Clowney, all these guys of that core, of that dominant defense that was so good in the past decade are all gone. The Linebackers as well, Cunningham, McKinney, Kareem Jackson. They just need some playmakers on that side of the ball. Thibodeau could give them that lead dog edge rusher, could form a nice tandem with John Grenard. Fourth overall, I have the Jets taking Derek Stingley, cornerback from LSU. Jets badly need a number one corner. Stingley has huge upside. He could be a tremendous pro corner, but he has issues with consistency, gives up some plays that just does not make sense on tape, given how talented he is. And then also he's had injuries, so he's a one-year wonder going back to 2019. So the past 2 years, you're not seeing a whole lot of the greatness that you saw back then. So there's some risk involved with Stingley. Teams view him as a potential boomer bust guy. So definitely he's a buyer beware prospect, but the upside is immense. The Jets need a number one corner. Stingley would be a good value if he lives up to that. Fourth overall. Fifth overall, I have the Giants taking Evan Neal, left tackle from Alabama. Give them a replacement for Nate Solder, bookend with Andrew Thomas, really improve that offensive line. Sixth overall, I have the Panthers taking Ikem Ekwonu, left tackle from North Carolina State. Carolina badly needs a left tackle. They've done patchwork job, just hasn't worked over the past few years. Give them a bookend there with Taylor Moton. That'll really improve the Panthers' offensive line. Seventh overall, I have the Giants taking David Ojabo, defensive end from Michigan. They could use another edge rusher to go across from Azeez Ojulari, really finish off that front four with Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence. So you add a speed rusher like Ojabo, it's going to be really difficult for double teams there for offenses. You can't double team 2 or 3 guys. It's just the numbers don't add up. So this could really help make the Giants defense much more potent with one more edge rusher. Eighth overall, I have the Falcons taking Travon Walker, defensive end from Georgia, really rising prospect. He was just phenomenal. Every time I watched, I think, every Georgia game this past season, number 44 jumps out to you every game. He is big, fast, athletic for a thick-bodied guy. You could add 10 pounds and play him at defensive tackle. You could have him drop weight and be more of a leaner, fast edge rusher. I know a lot of teams that love him and love the upside. He's so versatile. He's physical. He plays really hard. Just huge upside there. I think that with the Falcons, this would be a great pick for them. Given that versatility, he's going to bring some size and physicality to the line that they've needed. And Atlanta was dead last in the NFL in sacks last year, so taking an edge rusher definitely is necessary. Improving the pass rush is a necessity this offseason, I should say. Ninth overall, I have the Broncos taking Charles Cross, left tackle from Mississippi State. The Broncos need an edge rusher here, but with Ojabo and Walker gone, of course Stingley, Hutchinson don't make it here. I think it makes more sense for them to take a right tackle now, get a good tackle and Cross, and then you take edge rusher in the second round. Cross could step in. Garrett Bowles kind of regressed some last year, so Cross could start out at right tackle and eventually be their long-term left tackle. But we'll see. This pick could easily be traded for a quarterback. 10th overall, I have the Jets taking Garrett Wilson, wide receiver from Ohio State. Obviously, the Jets need more weapons for Zach Wilson. They have got to improve that receiving core. Garrett Wilson would be plug-and-play upgrade for them. 11th overall, I have the Redskins, Commanders, taking Kenny Pickett, quarterback from Pitt. Washington needs that franchise quarterback. Pickett would be a really good fit for Scott Turner. I think that obviously Malik Willis is kind of the hot name, but Pickett is the more accurate of the two. He's got more size, sees the field better. I could see Scott Turner in Washington being more of a pocket passer kind of coordinator, not a guy that's trending more towards the dual threat guys. I think that Scott Turner would probably prefer Kenny Pickett, and I think that would make sense for Washington there at 11. 12th overall, I have Minnesota taking Trent McDuffie, cornerback from Washington. I know some team sources that are super high on McDuffie, like him more than Stingley and Ahmad Gardner, so he could be going up higher than this, but really good polished cover corner. Minnesota needs that. 13th overall, I have the Browns taking Traylon Burks, wide receiver from Arkansas. Give them that big physical possessional receiver that can work the short to intermediate part of the field and give some easy completions for Baker Mayfield with a receiver that can do some damage after the catch, and a guy like Burks. 14th overall, I have the Ravens taking Ahmad Sauce Gardner, cornerback from Cincinnati. Anthony Averett's hitting free agency, Jimmy Smith as well. Jimmy Smith nearing the end of his career. With Marcus Peters' contract, they could get out of that in a year. So in the short term, Gardner could form a trio with Peters and Marlon Humphrey, and in the long term, they get younger and cheaper with having Gardner and Humphrey as their lead two cornerback tandem. And Baltimore had the worst pass defense in the NFL last year. They took a pass rusher in the first round last year, so I could see them hitting the secondary and coverage side, especially given the turnover they have there immediately and potentially to come. 15th overall, I have the Eagles taking Kyle Hamilton, safety from Notre Dame. They've needed an upgrade at safety for some time. Hamilton could be that. He could also be a sub linebacker for them, gives them versatility. I think he'd be a plug-and-play upgrade for the Eagles defense. 16th overall, I have the Eagles taking George Karlaftis, defensive end from Purdue. Give them an edge rusher to replace Brandon Graham. Derek Barnett's entering free agency as well, so they could use some more youth on the edge there to go with Josh Sweat. 17th overall, I have the Chargers taking Jordan Davis, defensive tackle from Georgia. They could use an upgrade at the nose tackle. It could stand to improve their run defense. They gave up too many yards on the ground last year. Davis would definitely help with that. And he'd eat up blockers. He'd free up the linebackers. He'd free up Jerry Tillery on the inside there as well, or you line him up next to Joey Bosa. Could do some really interesting things there in terms of stunts and getting Bosa some better blocking looks, more one-on-one. So I think Jordan Davis would be a sneaky good pick there for the Chargers. 18th overall, I have the Saints taking Tyler Smith, left tackle from Tulsa. He has just got immense upside, great skill set, really could be a dynamite player if developed well in the NFL, and I bet he's going to be a combine star as well because he's big, fast, and athletic. The Saints could be needing a left tackle of the future here. We'll see what happens in free agency, if maybe this pick is needed for a quarterback in a trade, but at any rate, I think if they solve quarterback in free agency, then Smith could make sense for them in the first round. 19th overall, I have the Eagles taking Devin Lloyd, linebacker from Utah. Give them a plug-and-play upgrade in the middle of their defense. Devin Lloyd, instinctive, productive, big, fast, physical. Really could be a really nice pro linebacker. 20th overall, I have the Steelers taking Malik Willis, quarterback from Liberty. Give them their future franchise quarterback. Willis, obviously, that great skill set, big arm, athleticism, needs to develop field vision, can get blinded in the pocket some. So he's definitely a work in progress. But he has big upside, and he's a great kid, hard worker, good teammate, wants to be a great player. I could see him being a good fit there for the Steelers organization. 21st overall, I have the Patriots taking Chris Olave, wide receiver from Ohio State. Give them a speed receiver, a good route runner, someone that can get open quickly for Mac Jones, and a guy who can push defenses vertically. 22nd overall, I have the Raiders taking Jameson Williams, wide receiver from Alabama. Give the Raiders a speed threat, a home run hitter to replace Henry Ruggs. Williams also good route runner. Tough, physical, plays hard. You saw it when he was a gunner on punt coverage. I think giving him to Derek Carr would make a lot of sense because the Raiders' offense was really humming along well in the first half of last year when they had Ruggs and before Darren Waller got hurt. It's amazing they still made the playoffs without Ruggs and without Waller. Just a great job of coaching by that staff there. So Mark Davis really blew it with moving on. But at any rate, they need more speed to replace Ruggs. Williams would bring that. 23rd overall, I have the Cardinals taking DeMarvin Leal, defensive tackle from Texas A&M. Give them some youth on the defensive line. J.J. Watt's aging, not going to play forever. Would make sense to give a guy, learn from him, play with him for a year, and then eventually take over as kind of their lead interior rusher. 24th overall, I have the Cowboys taking Trevor Penning, offensive tackle from Northern Iowa. They could start him out at guard. Connor Williams was a bust. He's hitting free agency anyway. Start Penning out at guard, and then eventually you have your replacement for Tyron Smith. 25th overall, I have the Bills taking Daxton Hill, cornerback from Michigan. He also plays safety, but really he's at his best as a nickel corner. You got Trey White coming off an injury. Hill, I think that with the Bills coaching staff, they can develop him, work him into becoming an outside corner as well, and he gives them safety flexibility and some depth there in case one of their good safeties gets injured. So I think that pick makes a lot of sense for the Bills defense. 26th overall, I have the Titans taking Tyler Linderbaum, center from Iowa. Really nice football player, would be an upgrade for the Titans on the inside. They could start him out at guard if they wanted to, just to get the best 5 on the field, but he would definitely be an upgrade over Ben Jones at center. 27th overall, I have the Bucs taking Kaiir Elam, cornerback from Florida. They need more cornerback talent, even if Carlton Davis resigns. If he doesn't come back, that's going to be a huge need for Tampa Bay. So getting Elam would make sense there. 28th overall, I have the Packers taking Nakobe Dean, linebacker from Georgia. Give them some speed and playmaking on the inside of that defense. I think linebacker, wide receiver would make a lot of sense there at 28. 29th overall, I have the Dolphins taking Damone Clark, linebacker from LSU. They need more talent in the middle of their defense. Damone Clark's being underrated. I know some teams really high on him, like him a lot more than some in the media have projected him. I know some other teams that aren't as high on him, they view him more as like a mid to late second rounder. So, but it only takes one team to fall in love, and I think for Miami here, they have some good linebacker options between Clark, Dean, Lloyd. One of those guys could get there to 29, and they'd be an instant starter and upgrade for the Dolphins. 30th overall, I have the Chiefs taking Wan'Dale Robinson, wide receiver from Kentucky. I've had scouts say this guy's like Tyreek Hill, not quite as fast, but really good route runner. Amazing player to get open quickly and uncover with his suddenness and flexibility to get in and out of breaks. So I could see him being a great fit there in the Chiefs offense. They could use another receiver to help Pat Mahomes go across from Hill. Robinson would be a great fit. Excuse me. 31st overall, I have the Bengals taking Nick Petit-Ferrer, left tackle from Ohio State. They could plug him in at guard or the right side, help improve that offensive line for Joe Burrow. He's got a good skill set and upside, so definitely I think the Bengals would have some quality tackle options here available to them at 31. Okay, last pick of the first round, 32nd overall, I have the Lions taking Jermaine Johnson, defensive end from Florida State. They could use another edge rusher to go with the Akwara brothers. I think Johnson really helped himself at the Senior Bowl. He's tough, good athlete, has speed. Not a big drop-off between him and the guys who are going at the top, and Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau. That's why I think Detroit's trending more towards taking the receiver there, because there's a bigger drop-off from the receiver of like Drake London to, say, like a Jahan Dotson here at the end of the first round. Dotson's a good player, don't get me wrong, but he's a smaller receiver, might not be a true number one, but you're getting a really good edge rusher in Jermaine Johnson. So if you look at the picks as a pair and then their high second round pick at 34 overall, I think it makes sense for the Lions to take that receiver first, edge rusher, cornerback, linebacker, maybe safety coming up in those next few picks, but definitely I think wide receiver, edge rusher, corner, probably the top routes to go there for the Lions in their first 3 picks in the top 34. All right, let's get into the teams that don't have first rounders. Excuse me. God, I'm sorry, guys. 39th overall, I have the Bears taking Daniel Falele, right tackle from Minnesota. They got to get better protection for Justin Fields, and Falele, I think, would be a good fit there. Give them a monster-sized offensive lineman to run block and really help set a strong edge for them. 41st overall, I have the Seahawks taking Rasheed Walker, left tackle from Penn State. Give them some more offensive line talent. Walker has immense upside, needs development, but he has a first-round skill set. Next up, we got the 49ers, 61. I have them taking Alontae Taylor, cornerback from Tennessee. Really good corner in terms of physicality, gritty player. Just lacks a little speed, but late in the second round, I think that's a solid pick for San Francisco. He also could be developed into a safety if he doesn't work out at corner. So I think that, when you're picking that late as your first pick, you're going to get some guys with flaws, but Taylor would be a solid, safe pick to be at least a guy that can develop into a contributor. So for the Rams, I have them picking at 98. I think they're going to get a comp pick from talking with sources for the free agency losses they had last year in terms of the two DBs that they lost to the Browns in big contracts. So I have a comp pick going to the Rams there, and I have them taking Jalen Armour-Davis, cornerback from Alabama. They could use more quarterback talent to go across from Jalen Ramsey, and I think Armour-Davis, with his size and speed, would be a nice fit there in Raheem Morris's defense, who just did a phenomenal job as a defensive coordinator for the Super Bowl champs. So that's this week's mock. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I got position rankings going up, of course, scouting reports all the time. Our mocks are getting updated every week. And like I said, we got combine coverage coming up next week. I'll be hitting a lot of rumors, getting the hot presses coming out. Walt's going to have all the numbers and results being posted on the site, so it'll all be collected right there for you guys. And of course, we're going to have lots of other great coverage. And I'm peeking ahead to 2023, updating those rankings gradually, just so it's helpful to kind of get an idea as to what are the strengths of next year's class when you're thinking about strategizing for this year's draft. I know teams do that as well. Not all teams, but some do kind of talk to their advanced scouts and get a feel for it. So they're taking the long-term approach of team building and roster building. So that's this week's mock. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be pumping out videos, or try and hopefully get more videos coming out when I'm up in Indianapolis for the Combine. But really appreciate all you guys for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. All that stuff helps the algorithm, helps our channel. So hope you're all doing well. I love all of you. I thank you for watching. Take care. I'll be back with you soon.